Last episode, we won guaranteed promotion to League One next season, and now it's time to finish up this season on a high note. Hey, welcome back. Respected Jeff here with episode 16 of this West Ham career. It's the final episode of season 1. We got a lot of action coming in this episode, so make sure you watch through till the end. We have 2 games coming up, the final 2 games of this season, and then right after that, we're going to hand out end of season awards and discuss transfer strategies and our plans for the upcoming season in season 2. If you guys remember the end of last episode, we had 3 out of our starting 11 players out, Noble, Hugh Gill, and Archie Hall. So we're in a little bit of a rough situation here, but we play on. Results don't matter too much. We're just pushing for first now. Alright, it's our second to last game here against Morecambe, and it could be really tough. Like I said, we're out 3 of our starting 11 here, so I'm not exactly sure how this team's going to perform. I hope they're up for the challenge. It's Afolayan alongside Alexander up top with the absence of Hugh Gill, and in the center, Coventry gets a start with the absence of Noble. So we'll see how some of these players can step up, and hopefully we get a win. I really want to hang on to first. It's Morecambe who are putting the pressure on here, keeping a lot of possession. We're back to the realism mod, so things are still tricky for us. Defensively here, definitely playing a lot better. The AI shot right at Martin. Alright, well, halftime, that was a very boring first half, and we're making some subs here. Something's got to go. The 2 up top is not working. So it's going to be Alexander Afolayan in behind him, and hopefully the wingers can get forwards and just contribute a little bit. I think 4 at the back will help. We're shoehorning Coventry into left back because I don't want to have to make a sub yet, but we'll see how this pays off in the second half. Silva getting forwards, Haksabanovic, Afolayan. No space up here. Alexander pushed over though, and it's a free kick. It's Haksabanovic over this one. Dipping it down over the bar, too weak and too low. Easy save from the keeper. And it didn't challenge him enough. And it's Whitaker out there to close down the wings. He's playing right back right now with the back 4. He's also played center back and center mid at times for us. He's such a versatile player. Shot in the back of the net. It looks like it's offsides though. We got a little lucky there. We got to really turn this around and focus quick. Silva. Call in. Alexander, can we make a chance here? It's Afolayan in the box, off the post. The chance has gone missing for us. 72 minutes. In behind for Afolayan again. Calmly back for Holland. Dancing inside. Holland again off the post. That is twice in a row. How unlucky can we get? Still level. All right, well, more subs coming on now. It's Johnson to fill in at right mid. We're pretty short on numbers, so it's going to have to make do for the time being. We'll see how he can perform there. And while we're at it, Alexander gets rested, and we're bringing on Lewis for a rare appearance from the center mid. We haven't seen too much of him this season. He's still got some growing to do if he wants to make his way into the starting 11, but it could be a chance for him out there during this game to impress. Ball put into the box right away. Afolayan looking for it. Couldn't find him. Lewis sprinting in behind. Not bad from the youngster. He did well to get into that position. Haksabanovic. Nice flick through for Colin. And a third time off the post. We still just can't score. 87 minutes in and our luck's running out. Bradbury. Whitaker gets a foot in and wins that back well. The whistle blows. And guys, this is a huge result despite not pulling off a win. The players celebrate for the title, which means that Swindon Town have lost their game, and that guarantees us first place. There's still 1 game to play here at the end of the season. So the players will get out there and lift the trophy today. A huge occasion and really well done all season long from this team. Despite the numerous setbacks we had, they were able to pull it off. It's first placed. It's the League 2 title, not the most prestigious in the world, but it's a starting point and it's something to build upon. We nailed on first, and now we can really focus in on season 2. All right, well, there you have it, guys. The 4-point lead with 1 game remaining guarantees us the title. Leyton Orient as well have established their spot in 3rd. The top 3 are set. The remaining 4 through 7, are still up for grabs. Crawley Town on the fringes there in 8th place. So it's between Colchester, Scunthorpe, Cheltenham, and Exeter at the moment. So one of those teams will be moving up with us to Division 3 and League 1 next season. But for now, we have 1 game remaining here, and it's against Cheltenham. Might be kind of a tough matchup because they are pushing to stay in promotion territory here. They're in 6th right now, so they got to be careful to get a win here. We're going to rotate the squad a little bit, give a lot of youth a chance here because the game won't matter for us. All right, here we go. Final game of the season. I started a bunch of our younger players who haven't featured much just so they can get minutes here. Daniel Kemp starts at right wing, Coventry in the middle, and Lewis in the middle as well. We'll see if any of them can impress us. We earned the title the hard way, and now it's time to sit back and enjoy this game. Alexander charging forwards. It's a sloppy touch, and he bowls the defender over, but draws a foul for us. Well done to get a touch in there. Coventry goes short from the free kick. It's Lewis at the top of the box, plays it in for Kemp. Just cutting outside. Tricky footwork, the winger. Oh, well done to beat his man, and still Kemp. Oh, that is outrageous in front of goal. Terrible shot from Coventry to end that move. Coventry, Alexander. Give and goes here. Over the top. Looking for Alexander. Couldn't quite find him there. Good run. Colin putting a foot in, but he can't stop the runner in behind here. Nichols and Doyle Hayes continues his run outside. I love these runs from the computer players here after the realism mod. It's so much harder to defend against. Off the post though, and we did get lucky there. That's the risk we run with a more difficult AI. We're definitely going to concede more goals, but we managed to hang on here. The game's still level and we're playing well. We just got to get some goals on our own here. It's Johnson filling in at left back as we play 4 at the back this time around. Holland picking it up. He's charging outside here, Holland, with his tricky footwork. Now cutting inside. Gets a touch away from the defender, somehow settles it. And again, a little too complicated there. Crazy flick from Colin and back over the top. That is beautiful stuff for Kemp, who shoots it right at the keeper. Holland again, change of direction, does really well to get in behind and using his pace well. Some runners in the box, no one really open though, cutting it back inside. A couple options now, and can't get that final ball in again. That's the story of Holland, really. So much technical promise, but just not quite the end product. Still plenty of time to grow, though. He's a young player and a very bright talent. Alexander absolutely bowling his way through the defense there. Almost finds a way through, but ends up having to cut it back to the top of the box. We retain possession, though. We're in a pretty good spot going forwards here. It's Colin who gets the ball at the top of the box, plays it into Alexander, deflected off the first shot, but in on the second. Lance Alexander scores yet again, and he just continues his insane run of form this season. Well, he's been thriving every chance we give him, and if he can continue to grow, I really think he could step it up to the next level as this team works its way up the divisions. Johnson, Coventry, Lance Alexander flicking it through, Cullen, give and go there, back out wide, Coventry cuts it back. That is a beautiful goal. Lance Alexander finishes for his second, but the whole team involved there. It was Lance who started off the move with a nice back heel in for Cullen, and 2 give and goes back into the box, slotted it home past the keeper. That is one of the best goals of the season, I think. Everyone getting involved and confidence just flowing through this team. Coventry stepping up, gets an assist on one of his rare appearances in this team. He's starting to grow into a bit of a role here, Coventry. Definitely not pushing for a starting spot over people like Noble right now, but definitely one for the future, and he can continue to get some minutes. But really, it's Alexander, 16 goals, the hero here. Alexander lays it off, Lewis lays it off, Holland cuts it back, Kemp. Well, I think we might be overplaying here, but it's beautiful stuff from the team. A lot of intricate passing, and we're seeming to find our play style here. And I can't wait to see how this team shapes up as we continue to build over the next few seasons. With a bit more talent, I think we could really play that way effectively. Cheltenham bombing forwards, it's May in behind, clear shot at goal, and Nathan Trott called into action, and a very acrobatic save to keep that one out. Impressive stuff from the young keeper, and he's starting to find his rhythm in this team. Again, Cheltenham putting a dangerous ball in, headed away. It's Bernardo Rosa heading it down, the substitute. His first appearance for the team all season, I think, taken down in the box. No call given, though. I think he got a foot on the ball, maybe. That was a very dangerous effort coming in, though. Rosa through for Ngakia. He's got Alexander ahead of him off the post, denied a hat trick in the final game of the season. How nice would that have been? It's a good effort from him. Almost on target, just a little bit off. Passing around the back here, and whistle blows. Full time, 2-0. We come away with a victory in our final game in League 2. We're moving up. We've taken the title, and that is just another brilliant performance by Lance Alexander. And really from the whole team, some of the substitutes impressed me. Lewis looked good. Coventry was great this afternoon. And even Bernardo Rosa, the substitute on his first appearance, looked pretty solid. So a lot to build upon. All right, well, that was a wrap for the season. In the off-season here, I'm going to train Alexander and Bennett. Both of them need to get up to speed a little bit more. Not Alexander in terms of performances, but I'd like him to hit around 60 before we start in League One next season. I think some of his stats could use the boost, so I'm going to try training them and see how high I can get them before the start of next season. But in the meantime, let's take a quick look at the table as it's settled. We finished first, Swindon Town, Leyton Orient coming up, and we'll have to see who gets promoted outside of that. But now it's time to take a look at our squad for the end of season awards. And we start with Player of the Year. It's given to Mark Noble. He stuck with the club in their drop all the way down to the 4th division. He played virtually every league game, and his experience helped a lot of these young players start to come through the ranks. He did a lot of the dirty work, winning the ball back in midfield, and also chipped in with a lot of goals and assists. Just class everywhere on the pitch. All right, next up, most appearances goes to Cardoso, the young, promising center back, one of the better players in this team. He struggled a bit on and off this season with consistency, but he always featured at least. Made a few mistakes at the back, but he's still young. And on paper, he is one of the most outstanding players in this squad, and I look forward to seeing more from him in future seasons. The Golden Boot goes to Lance Alexander. This was actually a pretty close one. It was within a shout for Hugill. If it wasn't for his 3 injuries, I think he probably would have snagged it. But all credit to Alexander. 19 goals in 33 games is a really solid return, and he only continues to get better. We're really blessed to have 2 great strikers in our team. The next award for most assists goes to Haksabanovic for 11. What an outstanding campaign from our versatile midfielder/winger. He was so creative all over the pitch wherever we put him. He wasn't always a guaranteed starter, but he always showed up, played his hardest, and I think he's going to play a huge role for us going forwards, probably in the center of the pitch. The next award, Young Player of the Year, was a little difficult for me. Lance Alexander definitely deserves it. I think his consistency through the whole season really earns him that title. But it is definitely worth noting that Archie Hall had a fantastic season as well. He tailed off a little bit towards the end, but he is another player that I really see featuring for this team heavily in the next few seasons. And finally, Goal of the Season also going to Lance Alexander for his amazing strike against Leyton Orient in the last episode. It was that volley over his shoulder into the top corner. What a strike! You won't see many goals better than that in any league, let alone Division 4 of England. And man, this guy just continues to impress me every single game. Strikes like that are just unstoppable. Okay, well that's it for the season awards, and now it's time to poke around elsewhere and see what we'll be dealing with for Season 2 in League 1. Ipswich, Peterborough, and Portsmouth moving up to the Championship. In the Championship, it's Fulham, Cardiff, and West Brom moving up to the Premier League. And moving back down in our direction, QPR, Barnsley, and Luton Town will be facing off against them next season, so we'll have to get familiar. And we really want a shot at a double promotion here. Manchester City swept the Premier League with 105 points, almost pulling off an undefeated season. Liverpool pretty close behind them, followed by Arsenal and Spurs. That's more or less the top 6 or 7 that you would expect to see. Probably Wolves up there too in 8th. Nothing too shocking, and I'm a little worried to take a look. No! Hull City, the worst ever Premier League season. 3 ties, 0 wins, and they come away with 3 points from 36 games. I do not know what happened over there. I'm not even going to try to make up a backstory to excuse that kind of form. I guess things really just hit the fan after we left. That is just not good at all from the Tigers. Again, it's not really our concern, but if they keep moving down, we'll probably run across them sooner rather than later. Focusing back on our own team for the time, though, we're renewing some contracts here. Whitaker definitely signing for another season. He's getting up there with age, 35 or 36 at this point, but his experience was so crucial, especially at center back, and I think he'll feature a lot for us in Season 2 as well. In the meantime, I'm taking a look at some realistic transfer targets. I'm targeting players from teams who are getting relegated this season, so Gillingham moving down. I think it would probably be realistic to pluck 1 or 2 of their players. Still not a lot of money to work with. We got a tiny bit there at the end of the season, it looks like. So we could possibly pay someone's wages and sign them on pre-contract. But before we actually worry about making any signings, I want to give you guys some updates here. I've changed some players at the end of the season just to reflect how I feel like the season went. So I took Whitaker, I bumped him back up to a 64 by moving him to center back, and I also attached center defensive mid as his secondary. It used to be right back / center mid, if you remember. I think this more accurately reflects where he's been playing. So I actually didn't increase any of his stats. Actually, most of them went down this season, but I think 64 is probably a more fair representation of his overall for where he's been playing. Another notable addition here, I gave Johnson the right midfielder position for his third, and I think we can maybe start slotting him in those spots. We'll see where he fits in for Season 2. Now, Ngakia might be the odd man out as long as we're playing 3 at the back. He's a right back, but he doesn't really fit in well at center back, so I'm not sure where that leaves him. Another notable addition here, I added 4-star skill moves to Nathan Holland. I think he really deserves it. Super tricky on the ball, and it's sort of his trademark to be able to take men on. I'm also going to add the flair trait to him in the offseason, just to reflect his playstyle. Haksabanovic, I changed his positions up completely. I made him a center mid / left wing instead of the other way around. He's always playing at center mid for us these days, and he can occasionally fill in on the wing. So I didn't change any stats, but just that change alone moved him up to a 71 overall, which is probably a fair representation of the level he's been playing at, which is good to see. Moving down the list here, Jordan Hugill has unfortunately earned himself the injury-prone trait. I think he really deserves it after those 3 major injuries this year. It's a shame, but I'm trying to keep things realistic here, and I'm not only going to do positive updates, I'm just trying to make things as realistic as possible based on the way that our players are playing. I also gave Afolayan the left wing secondary position. I actually did that earlier in the season, but I feel like he's been playing out there a lot, especially with 2 strikers up top. He can kind of fill in either spot. All right, so changes aside, I want to talk about how this team looks going into Season 2 and where we're going to be targeting transfers. So up top and all around the pitch, really, I think this is probably our starting 11, even carrying into next season. I don't think we need to improve too much what we have on the pitch. Alexander and Hugill up top is deadly. Holland and Silva on the wings. Could maybe use a third winger in there just to get in the mix and give a little bit of rotation. We have one of the best center mids probably in Division 3 as well. Colin Haksabanovic and Noble, all outstanding players. Really a notch above where we were playing this season. And our backline's solid as well. Cardoso, Whitaker with a lot of experience. Alay's a little suspect at times, but a solid pairing of the 3. Martin in goal. We got Trott breaking through the ranks and starting to develop. So I think probably for Season 2, we'll be looking for a winger to push for a starting spot, a backup striker, and probably a backup center back as well. So let me know in the comments who you guys think we should sign. Always open to suggestions. I've got a bunch of players here on our transfer shortlist, and I'm trying to keep things very realistic here, considering we're still only going to be in Division 3. A lot of these players, I don't think realistically would make the move to England. So Rose is one that I had eyed up from the MLS, but I don't think someone who's pushing for a starting spot there is going to want to move all the way to England to play Division 3 football. Someone who's a little more realistic maybe, Bradley Garmston from Grimsby Town. They had a really poor season, and with us in good form, I think he'd be willing to make the switch. He's a left back, left wing back, but he's very tall and super athletic, and I think we could mold him to be a center back in our back 3. So if we can get a deal done here on pre-contract, we could save ourselves a little bit of money. He'll take a rotation role. That would be great. Obviously, he's not going to be a guaranteed starter or anything. This is more of a project for the future. So we're going to counter here. I don't want any bonuses. We don't have a lot of money to spend, obviously. So we'll just pay his wages. $2,400, not too bad. They'll take the offer. We've got our man for next season. And again, he'll be more of a backup player. He's still young, though. He could definitely grow and sort of establish himself as Whitaker gets up there with age, and we'll kind of need replacements over the next season or 2. Look at that, though. His stats are outrageous. He is so fast, and he'll be able to help us cover in that back line. I'm just going to start training his defending and passing, things like that, so he can play out of the back effectively. We'll try to bring in some bigger name signings next season, depending on the budget, of course. And the winner of the promotion playoffs was Cheltenham, so they'll be joining us in League One as well. But guys, that does bring us to the end of Season 1. Thank you so much for following along with this career so far. I sent out a couple polls to the community already for like sponsors and kits for Season 2, so stay posted if I have any more updates coming for that. I'm going to take a little bit of time to get things together, and then I'll be back soon with Episode 1 of Season 2. It's going to be a really exciting step up But until then, I'm Respected Jeff, and I'll see you next time.